More than what you see. Narrator. It wasn't a typical Wednesday. The morning started with the sun trying to find its way to get through my window blinds, which was partially closed. I am a kind of a person who can do both morning and night. Although I have had an exhausting day the day before, I woke up happy, full of energy, ready to seize the day, carpe diem as they say, and ready to rock. My happiness was a fruit of something that was going to happen that day in the evening, around 9 o'clock. I got up from bed, went to the bathroom and did physiological needs, then, I stared in the mirror. A happy face, my smile could be seen from meters away. I was simply glowing. I heard my alarm clock buzzing. It was time to get up, but I had been up earlier from excitement. I snoozed the alarm clock on my phone and started dressing up for work. My work time starts every working day, from Monday to Friday, every week at 10 o'clock, but I go half hour earlier. Since I live 13 kilometers from my workplace, I've got to be on time. Every morning while I dress up for work or even on my day off, I listen to music. This is how I start and end every single day of the year. That is why I make sure I get up on time, so I have enough time for boosting myself in the morning. I dressed up and went to living room. I made myself a Nescafé, which of course, goes parallel with the French breakfast I have been having for years now. It's the croissant. I looked at the clock on the wall in my living room and it showed 8:30 a.m. I put my sneakers on as well as my favorite t-shirt and pants and stormed through the door as a hurricane. I was rushing, but there was no need to rush for. I went outside. The sun was shining as well as I. I heard my cat, Marco, meowing and knew it wanted food. I started talking to the cat as all the cat people do, asking him how was the night, was he okay, and I said, wait here, I'm going to get you a food. I went in the basement, which more like a kitchen room that has a bed, and while preparing him the food, I noticed he was on the window of the room and not meowing. Thinking out loud, I felt that he was feeling my aura, my positive energy, so that calmed him down, mostly meows till he gets his food, went outside again, gave him the king's breakfast, salami his favorite, and headed to the van. Still with the smile on after a 30-minute trip, I managed to come to my work. On the way to the building I saw my college and joined her all the way to our office. It was 9:35 a.m. The other two colleges arrived few minutes later and all was set to get the job done. Usually, each of us has a certain task to do. This morning/day we worked as a team. One for all for one. Anyway, the work hours were already till the end and we started talking about the event which was going to happen that evening. It won't be a surprise if I said that this was the reason I was so happy and glowing in the morning, and that continued during the whole day. However, we were talking about the musical event which was happening in the town at 9 p.m. that evening. The plan was to come and wait in front of the bar 15 minutes before 9. But as in any group plan, nothing goes as expected. I will leave this part here for now. I was done with work and it was time to go home. I took a van and headed home, so that I will have enough time to prepare for the night out. I came home, changed my clothes, ate and chilled. I was so excited, and yes, I couldn't hide it. What I'm trying to say is that I was excited and glowing because of the person who was going to perform that evening. Let's call her D. She plays the guitar and sings simultaneously. She is very good at doing both. Amazing.
Background story: I knew her from few years ago, when she used to come at my house with her nephew to pick me up for some basketball games on the playground. Yes, I had an awesome childhood, and she made it even better. I was 7th and 8th grade at the time, aged 13-14. During this time, she was a musician/singer, and I got invited quite a few times to go and watch her perform. But I wasn't allowed to go and party much, age limited. I could write a novel for this part how we met, but long story short, the point is that I had a crush on her. I was still very young to know what that even means, but hey, I knew what and how I felt. Every time I was going to be around her, or already was, I was trembling and shaking in an obvious way. I was nervous and quiet. She was always the one to start up a conversation, whether asking me about school, movies, sports, and so on. I was and am a very timid and shy person, but I try to hide that by talking a lot. I do it all the time and I am used to it, it's my shield. But when it comes to do that in front of her, I stumble and I act like a cat, bite my tongue. The worst this, if I can call it like that, is that she studied psychology and she knows exactly what my gestures and all I do comes from. I was into psychology too, but she is the expert. She, on the contrary, is a very calm person. Doesn't talk way too much, but always says something smart or makes you feel comfortable around her, especially if you're shy, like me. Probably, it was all clear for you after the sentence, I had a crush on her, it was all clear, and it was not that necessary to write all that, but anyway. However, I forgot to say I was blushing mostly. However, after all the fun, she moved to Skopje, where she was playing and singing in the bars.
Let's keep up with the story now. It was my time to shine now, to get dressed up. I put my other pair of favorite pants and my favorite shirt on, a new pair of sneakers, and together with some music made a few dances around the room. I go till the end or not at all. It was all in this time that I've decided to go a bit earlier, so that I will have time to visit my friend, let's call her Kay, before I go to the bar. So, I did. I got out of the house at 6:20 and headed to catch the van at 6:30 p.m. On my biggest surprise, and on the way to the van, it wasn't still there. Can you guess whom I've seen? Yes, it was Dee. I saw Dee. We've seen each other like 3 times overall very shortly since she moved to Skopje. I don't know or feel the need to tell you, but I will. I felt the same as I felt back then. It was like a boomerang of emotions and it all hit me again. I was shaking, trembling, my heart pumped as I was running from a bear, the adrenaline was up, I started sweating a bit, not visible, fortunately, all that at once, boom. But this time the only thing I missed doing was the talking part. I am still shy, still timid, but this time the first sentence I said to her was,
"Aren't you a bit early?"
It was a sarcastic question, but enough for me to break the ice. Dee said,
"No, I am on time until I make my way and settle the stage."
We hugged and I tried to make myself look cool and chill, like no big deal, but it was huge something, a storm in me. We started a conversation like how we haven't seen each other in years, what we've been doing during this period, and all the casual question-answer conversation. The van came, we hopped in and continued our conversation. Now we talked psychology, music, and how I try to learn to play the guitar. I invited her to go and grab some coffee, but the answer was, next time when she has more time, since she is leaving on Monday, yup, in 5 days. Too soon, no swoon. However, we arrived in the town around 7 p.m. We walked around 50 meters together and then we separated, me at my friend's and she at the bar to set the stage. When I arrived at my friend's work, I realized she wasn't alone, there was some guy sitting there. I thought, okay, I won't be here for long, because I'm not comfortable around someone I don't know, and all is fine. I was still under the D's magic and spell, as if she was a pill that would make me feel strange. I saluted Kay and the other guy and sat down without saying a word. Kay noticed that something was going on, because I'm never that quiet. I'm the one who makes everyone laugh and bring the positive spirit in, that's what Kay says. I had my own things in my head and soul and heart, but she didn't know. However, moving on, as the minutes went on, Kay had some work and left her friend and me alone. I was still uncomfortable, but somehow managed to get out of my comfort zone. I started talking about a little girl, I would say around 5 years of age, who came and was in front of the coffee store with her dad, I would have guessed. There was a pole, like metal bar, for stopping the cars to park on the sidewalk, and the girl started spinning around it. At this moment, Kay joined us too. So, I had break the ice and the silence, although I didn't have to, I just felt strange and awkward, so I did it. I commented about the little girl's future work, working in a bar and dancing on a pole, which frankly, it was rude from my side, thinking about it now. Yes, the 3 of us were laughing. The little girl noticed, but it didn't pay attention. We stared at her, as she was going in one way and the other way around the metal bar. Then, suddenly, her other came downstairs and tried to drag the little girl away. Now my creativity exploded like a firework to the sky and I continued talked about the little girl. I said her mother is her manager and is trying to get her away from the club since they weren't paying her enough and her father, the other manager, brought her back as if saying we can try again, we can do this. Then finally, they all left the place. I felt bad, after that, but what's done is done. We had a good laugh out of it at least. Then, Kay started talking and bragging in my name, about how creative I am and good, I write poems, songs and essays, stories.
Maybe I should open a blog, but no one will read my posts.
Without any doubt, they both said, we will. I felt appreciated and happy. I had a before party, if I can call it that way, before the actual party. At that moment, I got a call from one of my colleges saying she was in the bar where we were supposed to meet asking me if I was ready to go. I said I am on my way, all I wanted was to be there as fast as possible to see Dee. I said bye to Kay and her friend and headed to the bar. I arrived, and my colleague and her friend were there. We started chatting and the rest of the colleagues and the bar were getting in. All the seats were taken and it was show time. I saw Dee walking towards the stage, sat down, took her guitar in her arms, set the microphone and saluted all present people. She thanked us for being there and was hoping that all of us will enjoy for the rest of the night, we did. It was a great beginning, all genres were taken into a consideration, couple of languages were involved, the atmosphere heated up, all the way till the end. It was amazing and beautiful as she is and stunning and pleasant for the eyes and the ears. As the night was going to end, a big number of my colleges went home, each with an excuse to leave earlier, only one college and I were there, till the end. It lasted 1 hour more on our requirement the people. It would have continued, if the police wasn't there, limited time to party. The clock stroked midnight. It was crowded so my college and I waited all to settle down and then went up to Dee to compliment her musical talent, and to thank her about the amazing night we had. She thanked us for being there. We hugged again, and I would be a liar if I said I felt nothing, but I had to be very self-conscious and aware, because the place was crowded and her sister, who knows me well, was there too. I acted cool and all was fine. My colleague and I headed home, the only difference is that I was going to drive and I was still under the magical spell. I came home, went on social media and bragged with pictures and words how of an amazing night it was. Kay was online so I talked with her about my memories and flashback feelings for Dee. The blue-eyed girl on whom I had the biggest crush while younger. The next morning, I had to get up at before 7, because I was invited to go to listen to a presentation, then going to work, then we would host, at work, a short presentation about Malta. I had again waves of feelings and fireworks in my soul and mind, because Dee was going to come and talk briefly about the time spent in Malta. She lives there and was invited from my team to show the place. We prepared everything as a team, and all was set for 6 p.m. Dee wasn't the only guest invited, there were other people, including a professor from my high school. 1 hour later, Dee had to leave and I must tell you a fun fact. I was blushing the whole time, while sitting next to her. Maybe all this is a proof that I still have a little bit of crush on her. You be the judge. Overall, I had a great time Wednesday and Thursday and it is thanks to Dee. I've never met a person so calm, yet so energetic. You can feel it through body and mind. I'm glad that I know such a person and I'm terribly sorry that she must leave that soon. Thinking about it now. Maybe it's better this way. Because it can only mean I've got my feelings mixed and that's it. I don't know, the time will show. I will hang on as always. To sum up, the presence of one person can light up your day, week, and so on. Don't believe in all you see, the little girl's story, don't judge. Not everything is lost, there's always hope, you just must believe. Do it your way. Do it as you feel. It might be wrong, but nobody said it's going to be easy. The end.